Okay, welcome to JC Connect. We have started with the second module. So, in the second module, we were discussing about some of the water treatment process concepts, how definitely they are going to uh, uh, make an changes in the water treatment process as well as the um, water supply distribution network. So, we have discussed how exactly our network should be. So it will be the starting from the source. So what I told that it is thing is that it is from source to till water distribution network. How exactly it will be there. So in between from source, so you have intake structure. So then you have after that from this it will be water treatment plant. So then water distribution network straight away, then to the then to the consumers. So this is overall structure of our um, mm, the water treatment plant, or if you are running with a water distribution network. This is the major components of your this subject also. That is uh, water supply and treatment engineering. So up to here, it is completely related to your treatment, and here this portion it is completely related to your water supply. So I have already explained in the first part what are the things, um, we are discussing. In the second part, what are the things we are discussing. Um, uh, I already explained in the first or second class itself. So normally, um, in the first module, I said that we are going to discuss about the population forecasting. Up to second, third, till fourth module, we are going to discuss about the treatment facilities. And in the fifth module, we are going to discuss about the especially water distribution network. So we will now onwards we'll go ahead with the water treatment process. So why we should treat the water? That's the first question we should ask. Why we should treat water? So make it the why I should treat the water means we have to treat it because we have to make the water wholesome. Wholesome means it should be fit for drinking. When I say it is fit for drinking, so I have to follow some of the codes, that is drinking water standards. Drinking water standards I have to follow. That is, I have given that IS 10500 and 2012. This code I have to refer. So in this code, what it will say is that it has its own water quality parameters are there. I already said that I have discussed some of the water quality parameters. Water quality water quality parameters. So in this IS code, we have around more than 24 water quality parameters are there. So in that 24 parameters, all the parameters should be within the limits. Then only I can say that the water should be wholesome. If I want to make the water should be wholesome, then I have to apply the proper water treatment process for the contaminated water, because you cannot drink the surface water as it is. I already said you cannot drink the surface water as it is. So you cannot drink it. So what you have to do is that because nowadays surface water is not that much pure compared with your groundwater. So if it is a groundwater, normally what we'll do is that we'll straight away uh, we can drink that for groundwater. But surface water, as it is receiving many of the contaminants from either from the municipal wastewaters um, or from the industrial wastewater, normally it is uh, receiving. So then, if that is the case, what we have to, you should be very careful when you are supplying with especially surface water. Nowadays, the Central Pollution Control Board and some of the state pollution control boards, what they are, that is a CPCB already said that CPCB and KSPCB. These peoples are telling that surface water should be pass through an water treatment process, that too based on the characteristics, initial characteristics. First, you have to check the what will be the water quality of the source. Then you have to design the appropriate treatment process. Then only you have to supply to the consumers. That is a mandatory. As a groundwater, sometimes you can directly supply to consumers without treatment if it is if the parameters are within the limits. But most of the cases, if the groundwater is there, directly you can drink it, not a problem. But surface water, as for the norms, you have to treat it and you have to supply it. So then, uh, why this is the quality of water is important? Why the quantity of water is also very important? So I'll show you some of the very good pictures. You might be surprised how exactly the things are going on nowadays. Nowadays, the situations are changing. Why? The main reason is that if you check the water quality of the surface water day by day, um, it is not that much. If you just compare with the 10 years back, the quality of the water is not that much good. Again, if you go back to 100 years, straight many people will say that directly we can drink the river water which is flowing. But now it is the thing is not happening. If you see the Ganga is always we can call it as a holy river, but it has now changed a lot. But still, the government of India is making a lot of effort to bring back to the make it wholesome water to Ganga water, but it is not happening because what is happening is that completely you have to stop the activities which are especially endangering the surface water quality. But that is not happening. Activities are going on, uh, and you cannot stop it. You have, if you are making many regulations also, due to some of the corruptions and all those things, that is not happening. So, in next few years, this so what I am telling is that the water supply engineering and the wastewater engineering, so these are playing an important role because the level of pollution uh, is is not decreasing; it is increasing day by day. So, as the future engineering point of view, so wastewater engineering and the water supply engineering and water treatment process are the important um, subjects for the engineers. So then you just see this um, uh, figure. So it is saying that what, just observe this figure. So remember everybody, this planet Earth. So whatever you do, don't drink the water. See here you can see uh, this is our Earth, and these are, we can call it as a aliens or the some persons who are there in the Mars or there in the Mars or in some other um, um, place not from the Earth. They are telling that, see, we have polluted the Earth in a such a way that, okay, even if you go to the Earth, don't drink the water. Means um, the always the aliens, what you can say from the other um, parts of the not from the Earth, other parts, um, planets you can call it as other planets. So this day will come definitely that from the other planets, those who are observing us, definitely they will tell that don't drink any of the things from the water or don't take it any from the planet because everything is contaminated. So um, whatever you do, but don't drink the water. He is telling whatever the activities you can do, but don't drink the water. If you are going to any of the earth, so take the water from the our planet and don't drink the water from the earth. It is telling. This is the message that a strong message that from the, um, some of the creatures that means that much the depth of contamination what we did in the earth or we are doing it now, definitely it is going to alert the other planet lives also. So then this is one statement I can just read. High quality of water is more than the dream of the conservationist, more than the political slogan. High quality of water in the right quantity at the right place at the right time is essential to the health, recreation, and economic growth. See, for example, the overall meaning of this means, for example, if you're dreaming that I am an environmentalist, I am a good conservationist or environmentalist. So if you just go on telling that we are protecting our life, we are protecting our life, but what is problem is happening is that we are not getting the high quality of water than with the right quantity at the right place and the right time. So this, if you are going to satisfy all these four words, high quality of water, then right quantity. See, this is the right quantity, then right place, then right time. See, if all four objectives are satisfied, means then we are at a good position. Sometimes what is happening is that we are getting good quality of water but not sufficient quantity, but at not this right place. These are all, if you say, if you are achieving all these four objectives, means it is definitely going to increase the human health, recreation, as well as the finally the economic growth. When I say it is the economic growth is going when the human health is good, because human health is directly proportional to the economic growth of the country. Because if you are healthy, you can work out or you can work, you can earn, you can give GST or whatever the tax to the government. If you don't earn it, then it is very difficult. Like that, it is there. So, uh, rather than telling stop the pollution, stop the things, but what we have to do is that we have to create an environment in a such a way that on our own we should get high quality of water. We should get right quantity at the right place and the right time. So this is also you can see that the day how exactly things are happening is that you have to, you can see how this person is drinking the water. This situation we are not supposed to reach. And this also you can see, um, a sip of water might just be the things to lift your spirits. Normally the water is so important that um, even if you are preparing any of the alcohols and whatever the things, spirits, what you are discussing, it requires the high quality of water, and without that it you cannot drink it. So then see this figure also, what is happening is that um, even this also should not happen, and we are not supposed to depend on the complete rainwater also. See, he is running towards the rain. This should not happen. So we have to conserve the overall, conserve the water. We have to conserve the water resources like our surface water, and also we have to conserve our groundwater. And we are not supposed to reach at this level. So he is running beyond the rainwater. When the rainwater comes, then only he has to take it, and that should not happen. See, these days definitely it is going to come if you don't conserve the surface and groundwater, because most of the time uh, we can say the rainwater pH is around 5. You are not supposed to drink because it is dissolving whenever it is coming to the earth. It is dissolving some of the pollutants from the atmosphere, because atmosphere consists of carbon dioxide and all those things. Whenever it is coming to the earth, it is going to dissolve and it will come. But we don't know the extent of pollution, what is happening in surface water as well as the groundwater. So then, what exactly the requirement if you are drinking the water? What exactly the requirement? So first one, it should be it should be wholesome. It should be wholesome, and it should be like you are supposed to drink it. Then it should be clean, and it should be colorless, and it should be clear, and no dust and nothing should be absorbed in the water. So it should have some good taste, like it should have some minerals, and free from odor. See, when I say it is a good taste, it should not give too much of taste also. That is very important. How much it is required, that much only it has to give. See, according to some of the norms, um, we need some micronutrients. For example, if I take micronutrient sodium, sodium is required for our body, but at what level, that we have to check it out. If uh, if I am completely removing the minerals or the nutrients from the water, then it is not fit for drinking. Distilled water, you can say, distilled water, nothing will be there, but it is not good for the drinking purpose, because our body requires some proportion of some of the minerals, especially that natural minerals are required for our body. So then how much it is required? So I say it is a good taste. So means that much taste is not required. So only how much it is required for body, that much only. And whatever the minerals we are talking about, even these minerals has to satisfy our IS code, what we are telling. And it requires plenty, and it should be cheap and free from pathogens, and it should be non-corrosive and non-scaling also. So most of the time, when I say it is a non-corrosive, we say whenever the corrosion is going to happen, we always have to talk about the oxygen. Oxygen that should present in water. Oxygen that should present in water. Then how much oxygen
Then
should
how
be
much
there?
oxygen should be?
How much oxygen should be there? Normally, we can, whichever the oxygen dissolved in water, DO is dissolved in water, DO it should be 6 to 7 milligram per liter. And normally the DO range from 0 to 14.2 milligram per liter, starting from 0 to 14.2 milligram per the liter. So this is the maximum saturation level, that is 14.2 milligram per liter. And our body should requires only this much. See, whatever this variation of dissolved oxygen that is present in water, um, it varies with the temperature, and it is inversely proportional to DO. As the DO is increasing, the temperature is will as the temperature is go on increasing, DO will decrease. So that is the thing. So normally, uh, if I say it is 14.2 milligram per liter, so it is almost the temperature is in cold conditions. It is bit little bit lower, like a 4 or 2, 3 sometimes. That much it will go. So in hot water, the DO will be very less. So when I am talking about this non-corrosive, if more oxygen is there, it is definitely corrode. It will corrode it. So 10 milligram per liter of oxygen, it is not that much good for health because it is corrosive in nature. So they have maintained some of the standards for dissolved oxygen that you have to maintain always. So non-scaling in the sense, if you're scaling formation, you might be observed scaling in the sense, um, if you see any, uh, suppose you have a water supply distribution network is there. Suppose if you are using cast iron pipe, assume that it is cast iron pipe. So one piece of pipe and this is one second piece of pipe, and in between your joint is there. So suppose uh, you have made the joint here for joining these two pipes, one and two. Suppose if you are observing, see white dots or white precipitate type of salt type of powder, if you are observing at the joints, means it is scaling. This should not happen. The scaling is mainly due to the hardness. Means it should be a soft water. If the hard water is there, definitely if any cast iron pipe or if you are using, sometimes even PVC pipes also you will get it wherever the joints will be there. Scale formation will be there. That we can call it as scale formation. That should not happen for the if you are using the water for the domestic purpose. So always you have to talk about it should be non-scaling and it should be non-corrosive. If all these properties are satisfying, then I can say I can drink it. I can drink the water. I can supply the water to the consumers. So then, which are the common impurities that are present in the water? One thing is that suspended. Second one is dissolved. Third one is colloidal. First, suspended means you can see it. You can uh, see through the open eyes. Can see the impurities. For example, if any small mud material is there, then you can see that through your open eyes. That is also impurities. For example, if small stone, if it is present in water, that is also suspended. Means it is suspended in the water. Sometimes some particles will settle under the influence of the gravity easily, and some particles will not settle easily, but you have to make it settle. We'll discuss that what kind of solids will be there. Then dissolved means some of the impurities, it will be dissolved in nature. For example, you take sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is nothing but salt. What you can do, you take around 10 gram of salt. You can take you can take 10 gram of salt and uh, try to dissolve it in 1 liter. So if you dissolve it in 1 liter, so definitely you won't see any salt when you dissolve it. they are nothing but dissolved. So I already said that even sodium it should not be there more. So as for our standards, it is only 20 milligram per liter or 20 to 30 milligram per liter. The standard is there. Even 10 grams if you are dissolving 1 liter means it is more only. So again it is a contaminant. So once it is going with if it is um, if it is if it is moving with more than the standard value as per our IS code, IS 10500 and 2012. So what it is saying is that so it is only 10 to 20 milligram per liter, but um, it should not uh, be above the levels as for IS 10500 and 2012. So it should not exceed 20 milligram per liter also. So next come to even what will happen is that this is about the dissolved, how exactly the dissolved solids will be there. So normally we can call this as solids, suspended, dissolved, as well as colloidal. So these are all comes under the solids. We can call it as a solids. We'll see that solids whenever we are talking about the water quality parameters. We'll discuss that. Next, come to the colloidal solids. See, the colloidal solids are the charged particles. They are nothing but the charged particles. See, what exactly the difference between these uh, dissolved, suspended, and colloidal? Suspended nodal solids will always settle under the influence of the gravity, and you can see it. The dissolved solids, um, you cannot see it. Even salt, if you dissolve it in water, you cannot see it. But colloidal solids are charged particles. They will not settle under the influence of the gravity. They are all charged particles. So, for example, um, um, they are the size of that particles is just above the dissolved solids. For example, milk. If you take the milk and if you dissolve it in, you take 100 ml of milk and 100 ml of water. If you take it, if you mix it, um, you cannot see whether it is a water or it's a milk. So still solids will be there. What you can do, you take 1 ml of milk and 100 ml of water, and you mix it. Definitely, you can see that the solids will be there. So a small milky type of solids it will be there, but you cannot um, see like it will be suspended like the stone or some type mud, but always it will be dissolved in nature. Whichever the milk particle, if it is there, that is, we can say it is a colloidal particles. Most of the time, whichever the particles are there in milk, they are all colloidal in nature. Always, they will not settle under the influence of the gravity. So then, if that is the case, even what you can take the lime powder, try to dissolve it, lime powder. It's look lime powder. If you take it, if you try to dissolve it, most of the particles it will settle, and some of the particles will not settle at all. If that is the case, if that is the case, then uh, whichever the particles are settled, they are all suspended. Some particles, if they are not settling, means they are all colloidal in nature. But you can see it. So that is the difference of the common impurities. And one more thing that sometimes uh, the solids, either it will be in organic in nature or inorganic in nature. Organic means carbon containing chain, always it will be there in that solids. Inorganic means it is free from carbon. So, for example, if wood particles, any small pieces of wood, if it is there, powdered wood, if it is there in water, it containing carbon in the structure, so that will be there. For example, if sodium chloride, big particles are there, so it is free from carbon. So then we can call it as a inorganic. We'll see, discuss later how exactly these impurities are going to affect for uh, in our normal water treatment process. Why we are discussing all these impurities means, if you know the property of this all particles suspended, dissolved, and colloidal, then um, it is very easy to treat it. And main thing is that if you find any pollutant in water, first it is better to uh, classify what kind of impurities it is, whether it is suspended or colloidal, or whether it is dissolved. See, nowadays what is happening is that we are facing a lot of problem with the dissolved particles. If it is suspended, you can see, even if it is colloidal, you can see it. But we are facing a lot of problem with the dissolved. Dissolved, you cannot see it. Sometimes what will happen is that some of the pesticides are there. That pesticides, neither it will give the smell nor the taste, but still pesticides will be there in the water. The same problem is with the endosulfan also. You can see what is happening is that in endosulfan cases you might have observed in Kerala belt, it is till today they are facing a lot of problems. See, endosulfan, either it is having the smell or the taste. Even if any pesticide, if you DDT, if you take it and if you dissolve it in water, it definitely it will give the smell. You can see that some pesticide is there, but some of the pesticides are there, like your endosulfan. Neither it will give the taste nor the uh, water. So you can directly you can drink it. That saying that nothing is there in that. If colloidal is there, suspended is there, you can see it. Okay, some impurities are there. But dissolved, once it is dissolved means if it is given the different taste, then only you can observe that something is there. But we are facing a lot of problem with this dissolved impurities. So the challenges are now with the dissolved parameters only, because we have these um, suspended as well as the colloidal particle removal techniques are well established nowadays. But other parameters like dissolved parameters, we don't have well established uh, techniques. So still we are struggling with that, especially related to some of the pesticides, because a small amount of pesticides definitely it is going to affect our body. Uh, Normally this what I said is that sodium is 20 milligram per liter is required for our body. That is there, but some of the pesticides in a nanogram per liter or in microgram per liter, they are still dangerous to our human health. The nanogram per liter, just compare with a milligram per liter of sodium. So where it is nanogram per liter and where it is milligram per liter, that has to be discussed in detail how exactly this dissolved impurities are going to affect our body. And one more thing I wanted to highlight is that these dissolved impurities are more reactive than colloidal and suspended. So directly, these dissolved impurities are going to affect to your directly. It will be blood only. Once it dissolved, it is more reactive, and always the tendency towards reaction. That we'll see how these dissolved impurities are going to affect our body. Maybe the remaining water treatment process flow chart we will discuss in the next class. Okay, then we will stop the class. If you have any doubts, you can ask. The remaining part we'll discuss in the next class.